Hello, I'm Dr. Arti Kandolkar. I'm a consultant psychologist and a counselor. Today, we are here to discuss on another topic called bipolar disorder. Now, bipolar disorder, as we know, comes under bipolar and related disorders. Okay, it's a kind of a mood disorder. In our previous video, okay, we have discussed about bipolar 1. So, next, we have decided to go on to understand bipolar 2. Okay, so we'll see what is there in bipolar 2. So for understanding bipolar 2, you have to understand the diagnostic criteria, okay, of DSM-5. So diagnostic criteria is very important to do the diagnosis whether the person is suffering from bipolar 1, 2 or any kind of disorder. Okay, let's understand this. There are 3-4 points are here. The first is presence or history of major depressive episode. Okay. Now, as we know, for bipolar 1, what was necessary was mania. One episode of your mania in your entire life. Okay. Now, to understand bipolar 2, okay, to make it simple, we need two things. Okay. Two things is necessary. One is depressive episode. Okay. Major depressive episode is necessary. And second, presence or history of hypomanic episode. So this is the second part. These two things is necessary to diagnose bipolar 2 along with other things. Okay. So in bipolar 1 was important. One thing to remember is mania. In bipolar 2, two things are necessary, that major depressive episode and hypomanic episode. Okay. This is for your understanding. And not more than 4 days. Mania was for 7 days. Hypomania is for 4 days. Okay. And third, no history of manic episode. Do you know why is this? Why history of manic episode is not required? Because if you have manic episode, by nature, it becomes bipolar 1. There is no option for bipolar 2 diagnose. Okay. And the fourth, significant distress or impairment, which is normal for any disorder of mood. Okay. So significant impairment in all your major areas of life, like your occupation, your home life, your personal life, maybe your social life, everything is impacted by this. Okay. This disorder is characterized by one or more depressive episode with at least one hypomanic episode. So there should be definitely one hypomania and one depressive, but there can be multiple depressive episode, okay, with one hypomanic episode. Okay. So I hope this diagnostic criteria of DSM-5 is understood. Let's move on to the next one. Now we have seen what is the diagnostic criteria of DSM-5 for bipolar 2. Next, we are going to see here the graphical presentation of bipolar 2. Okay. So how it looks like. As we know, there should be one hypomania, okay, one hypomania is needed and severe depression is needed. Okay, so you can see here the line touches the severe mania thing. So it is here. So severe mania is criteria is meeting and it is going here to hypomania. You can also see it is not touching this line of mania. It's not like going higher and coming down. If this was the case, it is reaching here, this point, then by nature, as we know, it's bipolar 1. Don't need to see even the depressive episode. Okay. So this is the basic criteria. One is hypomania and 2 is severe depression. Okay. So this is graphical. Let's move on to the next one. So as you know, this is for 2-week period. Okay. And there are 7 symptoms. You have to meet 5 symptoms out of this, out of 9 symptoms. The first one is depressed mood most of the day, nearly every day, as indicated by either subjective report a person is telling himself. In children and adolescents, the same symptoms, okay, of this being depressed is not seen as being depressed or sad. They may exhibit the symptoms of irritability. Okay. At children, they cannot show depressed mood all the time. They may be frustrated, irritated, and they may show anger, and that is actually a sign of depression. Okay. The next, diminish interest or pleasure in almost all the activities most of the day. So whatever a person does in a day, there may be lack of pleasure, interest in doing those activities, okay, most of the day. Significant weight loss, okay. In children, consider failure to make appropriate gain. So this is like, if children, it's not that all the time they'll weight loss will be possible or weight gain is there. It's sometimes it's like they cannot even maintain appropriate weight. They may be up and down. Okay, anything is possible. Fourth is insomnia and hypersomnia. A person, insomnia means lack of sleep. Hypersomnia means more sleeping. So anything of this sleeping patterns may get affected. The next slide is fifth point. Okay. So fifth point is psychomotor agitation and retardation nearly every day. So there may be lack of movement in a person, or there may be inappropriate movement or lack of interest. So they don't like to move forward, do some things. Okay. So psychomotor agitation. Sixth one is fatigue or loss of energy nearly every day. Okay. So they do not have enough positivity or energy in them to do their activities of the day, which is necessary. 7, feeling of worthlessness or excessive inappropriate guilt. So they may feel, I am worthless, useless, helpless kind of a person, and inappropriate guilt feeling. If they do something mistake or don't do their chores, they may feel inappropriate guilt in them. 8th point, which is missing here, but I have written here. So it is diminished ability to think and concentrate. Okay, they have no ability to concentrate on particular thing or even to make decisions. Okay, so they become indecisive nearly every day. And the 9th point is recurrent thoughts of death or suicide may be present. So they may be feeling suicidal at times. Okay. Suicide attempts may be seen, or specific plan for committing suicide. You have to look out for these symptoms in a person. So there are 9 points here. You have to meet at least 5 out of this. Okay. The second important point here is to make diagnosis. Okay. This is for making diagnosis. Is symptoms cause clinically significant distress or impairment? As we know, in social, occupational, and other important areas of functioning. So wherever a person goes, whatever he does, that entire areas of his functioning is getting impacted. Okay. The next is you have to understand all this point thoroughly. If you have any difficulties, you have to refer to DSM-5 for this. Okay. Although we have covered almost all the important points. Okay. To understand what is depression or major depressive episode. The next one is, so now we have already seen the 5 symptoms which are necessary according to the DSM-5. So I have just put this point in a short words, like you can say quickly identifiable, that is depressed mood, lack of interest in activities, changes in weight, gaining or losing, changes in sleep, fatigue, feeling of worthlessness, helplessness, uselessness, okay, difficulty in concentrating, making decisions, and thoughts of suicide may be present. Okay, so these are some more quick review points. Okay, the next is difference between unipolar and bipolar depression. So, or you can say, yeah, so what do you mean by unipolar? Uni means one, okay, uni means one, and bi means two, okay. So one pole, a person when there is on unipolar, that is only a depression pole, okay, and there is bipolar, there is shifting between depression and mania, okay. The Latin prefix uni means one or single, while the Latin prefix bi means having two. True to their prefixes, unipolar depression is comprised of two type of things, that is depression, okay. Unipolar depression is of one type, that is depression, while bipolar depression is comprised of both depression and mania. I'm just reading this slide. Unipolar depression lacks mania, okay, and is comprised solely of depressive symptoms. So unipolar, since it is depression, it is only having depressive symptoms. Unipolar depression depicts that moods are centralized around one depressive pole. Okay, suppose there is north and south pole. All the points are shifted over here, depression. Okay, while bipolar depression, which has both this point and this point, it vacillates between two poles of depressive low and mania. So it is depression and mania, both. The person shifts from both mania and depression. Major depressive disorder, clinical depression, unipolar depression or major depression are the same terms. Okay, when you are saying somebody is suffering from depression, you can call unipolar depression, you can say major depressive episode, you can call clinical depression. All the terms means the same. So I hope you understood what is major depressive episode, what are the symptoms here. Okay. Also here we can understand one more important point, okay, which generally misunderstood. The difference between bipolar, okay, and borderline. These are terms which seems similar, okay, and people misunderstand this. So let's understand this. Borderlines means a person shifting between, suppose there is some border of some area, okay, suppose mania and depression, the person shifts here, okay, while bipolar, a person shifts from here to here, okay. So borderline means quick changes in mood of sadness, happiness, and it is more environmental. The triggers are in the environment, because this borderline is about personality disorder, okay, while bipolar is a mood disorder. That is the difference, okay. Bipolar have more genetic component, while borderline is environmental, as I said. Anything saying something good to you, you become happy. If somebody says something nasty to you, you become aggressive or unhappy. So this is environmental, okay. While bipolar is more genetic component. It's within you. It is a chemical imbalance in a person and not because of environmental factors, okay. Borderline is a rapid shift. The person can change from one mood to the other. There is a trigger of psychosocial and reactions, okay. Or you can say there is a defensive nature in borderline personality. Bipolar shifts in mood, they stay longer. So the duration of bipolar, okay, that is mood disorder, is longer definitely than the borderline. Borderline can happen quickly, while bipolar, it's not possible, okay. Episodes are larger in bipolar. There is no any reason for moods, okay, does not have any trigger in reality. They are internal, genetic, okay, biological. Bipolar, again, it is genetic, biological reasons, nervous system dysregulation, this could be the reasons, okay. Other than affective, affective means emotions. There is no emotional up and down here, okay. Stressors can trigger genetic susceptibility. And borderline is more environmental and self-esteem related issue, okay, while bipolar is more of a genetic inbuilt issue of chemical imbalance. That's it. This is the difference between bipolar and borderline. We have cleared this. So now we have just seen bipolar-II disorder and what are the diagnostic criteria, that we require one major depressive episode and one hypomanic episode is enough, okay. And there shouldn't be any mania symptom in bipolar-II. If you have one manic symptom, means bipolar-I. This is just to revise. And we have also seen, try to understand the difference between bipolar and borderline. I hope this was helpful. Okay. I hope you have liked our video on bipolar-II. Okay. If you really like our videos, so please do subscribe, share. or hit a like button on our video. Thank you so much.